Alright, I think we're good to go. That finals VOD is gone. It's absolutely gone. Doesn't exist. So many things went wrong. I can't piece it together anymore. Anyway, today my stupid idea is, make one really good set of fists and use that to maybe practice a little bit, because I want to change weapon. I want to dream of the demon. Oh yeah, the plus level. Shit. Okay. That possibly reduces the amounts of items I have. Yes, very. Throwing graces and attack bonus constitution. Look at that. I've entirely forgotten how to make good items. It's not even funny. Is there anything special here? Nope. Okay. That's a Shamontin's grace. No, I need Byzantin's. Benzaitin. Benzaitin. I don't know how I came across this information to begin with. Yeah, items get pretty nuts, don't they? Forge a weapon. I have 2 primordial mud. Okay. Don't have much I could do. I don't want to spend the Divine Umber sight. They're obviously good. Sure. I need to, at some point, go and see how to make proper combinations. It's like a level 1, so it's gonna be really bad. There you go. What do I not have? Metalworking chisel. I used to forge those, I think. There we go. Massive amounts of money's being wasted, mind you. Okay. Just want to see what kind of options I have. Ooh. Special effects. Are those the Hayabusa ones? Yeah, let's go. The pauper version. Okay. And now, after I sink over here... see if anyone's on. It's got a decent bit of forward momentum. When I run like an idiot. Oh, and he died. No, I just started a mission. Well, I guess I'm doing a mission. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm all about. Oh yeah, I haven't even tried the... It's just like a dash. Interesting. Now obviously the numbers are helping me a bit here. that hits quick, huh? And I get like double hit. Hmm. And this is even without the active skills. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. It's like, it's obviously strong in the difficulty I'm at. With the upgrades that I do have. Let's see. I somehow managed to sneak in the Dachi one. This was difficult. Well, I guess the... What are they? Fire stop, water stop, lightning stop one. Just upgrade those. Increases my luck. I do like extra luck. Merida. Anima. You know what? Fuck it. Get that. Have some extra luck. Okay. Allows you to connect an active skill to another active skill, or an active skill to a normal attack. For each unique attack you connect while the enemy is aware of you, this effect stacks, increased by 1, up to 10. The number you get, the higher the melee damage will be. The duration of the skill will be extended when you recover full key from a key pulse. Increasing the power of your next active skill. Swiftly move forward every time you perform a successful key pulse while pushing towards the left. Oh, forward on the left analog stick. A quick attack with a flurry of punches. Hold to increase the number of punches. I just want to do it in Tory Gates where I can figure out what to do, but there's no one playing this game. Why am I even bothering? Just go grind forever and dream of the demon. Why is it always this mission? What stumps people about it so much? I feel like every second summon I get is from... Hi, how's it going? I fell down. I'm such a klutz. Alright. There's something behind me, but I chose to ignore it for the sake of... Oh, I'm paralyzed. It's so over. Is he alive? Probably not. I'm not gonna find out. This isn't the default difficulty. This is someone higher. Oh my god. I just noticed that there's things that aren't a normal difficulty. Well, yeah, it's fair. Nioh 2 isn't... Sorry, I'm getting interrupted mentally by someone's chainsaw outside. It's kind of what I would consider to be the cooler Daniel version of any Souls-like game. It combines the shitty, like, knock your teeth in kind of combat of, let's say, a Ninja Gaiden game with the respawn mechanics of a Dark Souls, and then introduces, like, intermittently a weird Diablo 2 like item system. I'm just trying to figure out how to use this weapon. Currently, I'm just pressing buttons and it's working out. I'm not key pulsing very good. Oh yeah, it's fairly stupid. For instance, you've got like any weapon, right? In my case, this is the fist. On the bottom right, you can see I have these like stance buttons, which if I do light attacks in the medium stance, if I do light attacks in the top stance, and in the low one, right? You also have a set of heavy attacks for each, and you can switch in between them. And you might have noticed that I spend stamina by attacking, and then if I switch to another stance with a maneuver called a key pulse, I get to recover a substantial amount of that stamina back and just keep going. So, you know, as the very basics, it's... And obviously there's a bit of a timing element. To when the key pulse happens, because it's like after your attack. You see that little circle of happens because see that like petals. Every attack has a different one of those. And so you just constantly get a like weird tempo going where you're always pushing forward. And that's yeah. That's me bunging it. I've ever played Sekiro, which I recently learned is by From Software, and I didn't play it, but I did end up watching a lot of people do it. I'm not too big on the Souls-likes. It's one of the things I figured out eventually, is that I kind of don't like a lot of Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls 1 to me isn't the coolest shit. Like, Demon Souls? Yeah, that's cool. I like that one. And now I like very recently bought Dark Souls 2. And that one is like having small shades of Demon Souls in it. And I think I like it still. I keep trying to press this button and I fail because I haven't played this game in like 2 months. I'm so upset. That guy was my guy. He was doing a higher difficulty, which means that we could have been friends. If I hadn't been paralyzed. I mean, let me actually go up. Let's do the search, fuck it. It's mission based, which I also like. It gives you like these nice little, nice little breakpoints. So, I'm switching to the Adachi, which is my usual preferred weapon. Its little gimmick is that if I do, let's say, 2 heavy attacks on light and then press quick, I can switch in the middle of the combo into a high stance hit and end it with that. And then, let's say I'm doing something like that. And the more of these I string together, the stronger my set becomes, because it has like a stacking modifier for whatever moves I've hit it with. But then you also have, if I can do it right, so if you magically somehow do, like, let's say a hit of something, and then I'm really bad at it. You see how I switched between weapons at the end of that when I did the key pulse? Those are like transitional attacks between the two weapons, which you can do, which means that, like, I could just go from one weapon's combo with a full bar of stamina into another weapon, and then somehow, like, string those two together. But it's a little bit difficult, as you might be noticing. Because you have to just, like, do the pulse. And you could just go nuts. And then there's this whole talisman buffing system, obviously, on top of that, which you get to have all of these stupid effects going on. And obviously, like, the loot that you get matters, because then you can craft a proper, better, cooler weapon that does all the things you might want it to. And, then I'm not even getting to, like, the yokai stuff, because the yokai stuff is, you know, being able to do this kind of dodge with, like, a counter move in it. If I pull this guy over here, he just took so much off of me. I'm just not really good with fists. I wish I could, like, understand what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of haphazardly pressing buttons to hope that it works out. And you also have, like, slight ranged combat that's a little bit limited, so that you can deal with some enemies from a little bit farther away. And I got paralyzed again because those enemies now have that move. And every difficulty, much in like Ninja Gaiden fashion, gets more and more cool new shit as time goes on. I didn't even know you could zoom with that, but there you go. And I'm dead. I am died. Because I couldn't figure out what kind of damage to do and how to do it, and it sucks. Well, it is. Like, I've obviously... figured out some things and not others, such as what to do when he does that little fucking move. Because I can't jump. I can't fucking hit that motherfucker. And now I'm stunned. And I'm stunned again. And now I'm stacking like two separate little... Sorry, I can't really talk while I'm doing this. I'm so scatterbrained all the time. Okay. And that worked out, and I could not tell you. Yeah, I do. I look fondly back on that time where I had so much time on my hands. Sometimes I think about going back. I do try and keep track of whether or not they've released that like, new expansion. They're like working on it. It really is just unfortunate that I ended up being employed and now I have to like not play Final Fantasy 11 for 8 hours every day. It's such a sadness. What do I fucking do against this? Okay. I can't tell you what I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just pressing buttons and hoping it works out. Haven't played in a long time. Yeah, like I really like Final Fantasy 11. It's just that it's a lifestyle instead of just being you know, a hobby. it's you wake up, you know when people are on, you know how to like sit there in Juno, constantly messaging people, hey, you want to do this? And everyone's like, no, I don't. But you bet your ass the second I get fired or need to look for another job, I'm ripping off that fucking band-aid. Just fucking going in for it. Alright, take 2 of this Buddha shack that I'm gonna go into. Uh-huh. I really think this weapon is stupid. I fucking love it. It's really just... I'm not even looking at what's happening on screen. I'm just looking at the bar and hoping that I can figure out where the key pulse is. Yeah, they do. They have grabs, blocks, parries, whatever you fucking want. Well, keep in mind this is, like, part of the intent here. I have put some kind of lifesteal on every single piece of gear that allows me to. Like, I have assured that I don't have to actually look at my screen sometimes. Because I know what I am, and careful is not it. I'm just... sometimes gonna really bung it. Can I talk to the Sudama? Oh, but I can't talk to her because I didn't have enough insight. And those puddles that they leave on the ground? I have to key pulse to remove them, otherwise they reduce my stamina gain and make my moves, like, exhaust me further. It's like so many layered little microsystems that contribute to this game being incomprehensible. Alright, this guy already poisoned me. I'm really failing at some of these key pulses. See, me having to take a break there could have been the end of me. I don't know how I survived, but I guess the power of my numbers is just high enough. I will fall. I will so fucking fall. I knew it! The second I, like, lunged towards it, I knew it was gonna happen. Oh, you wanna... What did I just do? Like, I keep mentioning Final Fantasy 11 to people, which I think is all I can really do currently. It's just like, hey, maybe don't get too excited about it, because sometimes it's weird, really. I used to not really talk about it and just mention like, oh, yeah, sometimes I play Final Fantasy 11. It's like my new MMO thing. And it's one of the few games I would actively tell people, you know, no, this is like a me thing. I don't think anyone else will really like this. It requires a little bit too much of a stupid, broken sense of what a video game should be. Like, it's fun to me because it's difficult and incomprehensible and it takes forever. And then every single motherfucker I told that was like, you know what? I want to get in on that. And I'm like, sure? You'll really hate it. Like, you will spawn there and you will not know what to do. And you will just have to live with it. Yeah, but I was a new player to it, you know? That's the beauty of it. You obviously can. Like, I go, what, like 50... level 55 Red Mage? And then, like, a bunch of others to, like, 30-something? It was so fucking good. And I loved it. Like, I got to talk to Japanese people about fishing in a video game. It was fun. I would like to at some point try Trust, because I haven't played actual proper retail Final Fantasy 11. I actually have to leave at something. How do I do this again? I am kind of dumb. Let's try that. They do. I also genuinely sort of liked the idea that I'm starting as fairly close to default Final Fantasy 11 as possible, like a progressive server sort of thing. I like that. Not that I interacted with any of the expansions, mind you. I basically started, I think, Xylot vaguely, and then I remember that the second quest in that chain required me to get a party already, and I was just like, fuck. It's like, don't wanna do it. Who's gonna fucking do Xylot? And the problem with at least me playing on Horizon a little bit was, obviously I kind of want to play during European times, and European times on Horizon were just fucking empty. Like, yeah, still like 800 people or something, but like compared to the 2,000 that were going to be there, like 3 a.m. in the morning, I don't know. I just felt like I had to stay up all night to get anything done. And obviously because it's not just like, oh, you get on at 3 a.m. and then you play for like 20 minutes and the quest gets done. No, you sit down at 3 a.m. and you play until 6 because the quest itself takes 3 hours to get there. Like, it's just so much. Yeah, like, who cares? Even if it's East Coast, it's the same. It's just I don't... Like, it really bugged me. Yeah, obviously I could play with the Japanese and the Europeans. Like, that didn't bug me. But it just, you know... I had to get over a language barrier there. You know, when they ask you, questo item arimasu ka? You gotta go, aha, questo item motteiru. 行くぞ。Yeah, they are. There's a bunch of them. I used to play with a guy called Nemuri Mogura, which means sleepy... What is it? Sleepy mole. And we would do like some of the later quests and just the nations stuff. And obviously my Japanese fucking sucks. Like, I mean genuinely fucking sucks. But somehow, you know, 6 or 7 sentences were enough. Just gotta navigate that bullshit. And it was fun. Like, I genuinely had fun doing that. Took about 2 years of Japanese. Yeah. I just watch a bunch of samurai movies. That's my poison. I'm also watching Kamen Rider. I'm on that tokusatsu shit so fucking hard. You wouldn't believe it. And you know, I'd talk to them about fishing. I'd talk to them about how to play the video game, because they obviously know. They obviously know. They're pretending not to, but they do. They know exactly how to play the video game. I think speaking the proper hard part of Japanese, because I have to listen to people talk and then reply sensibly. Like when I'm writing, I could take all the time in the world. I could use the AM EET to tell me what the kanji is. Like, the easiest part in Japanese, I think, is writing. Because who writes, like, calligraphy kanji on a piece of paper anymore, you know? Just press space and it turns all that katakana into useful words that mean something to someone. And yeah, I'll remember some of them. Just for, like, my own entertainment. Sorry, I had to shut up there. But, you know, even the European people were cool. The problem is that, I'm not particularly sociable as a person anyway. So I'd always try to figure out how to do questions on my own, even though it wasn't really reasonable. And it would end up with me just, like, leveling up Beastmaster, leveling up, like, Black Mage, shit like that. Just so that I could, like, do these little tricks to, like, be invisible and do all that crap. And, like, run through. And any other offer that I got, like, anyone that was whispering me, would be mostly just, hey, you're a red mage and you have white mage on, hey, you want to show up here and use that refresh on us and heal up a little bit? And, like, I didn't mind. I like the party stuff. I like doing the XP parties. It's just, it felt like it was not really a means to an end, but it didn't do much in terms of progression for anyone. Like, yeah, you get the levels, you get the spells, but, like, what of it? I think the coolest thing about XI was that you kind of unlocked conveniences by like spending an absurd amount of time into the game. Like the time where like you used to walk for like half an hour to get anywhere gets replaced by the time where you just buy a chocobo and get there. And then that gets replaced by the time you get like some teleports going on and some warp, and like you get a warp cudgel that lets you do that. Then you get the airships unlocked, and that lets you travel to different places too. And so suddenly the map becomes more and more accessible. Like it's such a good sense of progression that just like the world is no longer this incredibly large and inaccessible place that takes a whole day to get across. Like I really like that. That, and then progressively figuring out like a little bit of the gathering and the crafting progression stuff. Like my last couple of weeks when I was playing XI used to involve me mostly just contributing pages to the wiki for items that seemingly no one else has crafted ever. That was my shit. Yeah. And even then it used to be a little bit annoying when you'd miss an airship. And like, for instance, you're waiting for a weekly high wind to be on there, and you're like, fuck, now they've killed it. But it just keeps spitting. There we go, it's done. Can you please lock on? I mean, I pushed that guy off. He's dead. Come on, just... Just a moment. My muscle memory just took over there and pressed triangle. I didn't know it was gonna do that. Didn't do crafting, but someone explained it to me. To level something would require like 2-3 other crafts. That's not necessarily true. The thing that it required is that you kind of navigate this weird web of efficient level ups. Because you couldn't just keep crafting like the level 1 materials forever. You had to be like within a level range of something that was like efficient to craft and would take like only one material instead of like 7 different materials to craft like a thing, because that's where you get other different professions involved. So like, for instance, I was doing metalworking, goldsmithing, and mining for the most part. And none of those gave any returns whatsoever. Like, it would basically be a sunk cost, because I could sell the raw, like, ore that I get for so much more than any of the products, just because it's, like, components for leveling, and other people who are more well off would just rather get the skill ups from making those things than going out and getting the ore. Like, no one was interested in the products, and I'm like, as an ex-EVE Online player, where like the spreadsheet is part of the experience for me, I would sit there and look at the market all day and just run numbers. I would have like so many little fucking transactions going on. I used to like do this stupid little like math spreadsheet where I would hook up all of the stuff that I would get from an EXP party, because within like, I don't know, level 40 to 50, you kind of just did the same 3 camps and they'd have the same resources. So you would just kind of figure out, okay, like, what is it? Cougar whiskers and shit sells. Everything else doesn't. So I would just like progressively fill my bags with that and go sell it to people that want it. And then like I remember doing, what was it? It was like a summer thing. Like maybe last May or something like that. Where you would go to the island where you can do clamming, and there was like a big sort of world boss they put on there that we fought for like half a fucking hour. It was like not even half an hour. It felt like it was a whole day spent just waiting in a group just to get that boss down and get like a swimsuit or something like that. Just like one little cosmetic piece of gear. The special venue. I tried climbing a little bit, and climbing was pretty good. I would get ox bloods fairly fucking often. And then when I like eventually figured out which of the items that actually don't sell, like I could have full stacks of those and they wouldn't move. It's pretty tight. I liked playing the market a lot. I ended up spending a lot of my time just doing not so worthwhile work. Started EVE a few months ago to try it out. Oh, music to my fucking ears. Oh, yeah. Are you doing the whole free-to-play thing, or are you, like, going deep and paying for the experience? Because I can tell you that game, as free-to-play as it gets, is super fucking limiting. It is super limited as to what you can do. EVE is so good though. It's like such a... Bought a platinum starter pack including like 3 months of game time. Yeah, that's alright. I personally have never spent money on EVE. I couldn't do it to myself. Does it? I was never too big of a... Like, I like the fact that you could just leave it and it would basically over the next couple of months completely like level you up to where you can fly some ships. Like, yeah, if you want to do it right now, it's a little bit of a bitch. But obviously they've kind of ruined that whole thing. You used to not be able to like inject skill points at all. It used to be just like you literally have to put the time in. A lot of the useful skills are hidden behind being an Omega account, which for obvious reasons is, you know, the sort of incentive to have you pay for the game and all. But like, I felt like I got to fly a decent amount of ships. The problem is that when they turned the game free to play for like a decent amount of time, obviously a lot of people thought, oh yeah, now all of the Chinese like gold farmers are going to show up and they're all going to do mining, and you're just going to have like a botnet sit there and hit asteroids forever, so let's like limit the mining options there. They also limited all of the ships to not have cloaking, which means that you couldn't possibly do transport. I really wanted to do hauling as like a thing in EVE, but I had this conversation. It was like one of the live broadcasts here, where I had a chance to talk to like some long-time EVE players, and the problem with hauling is no one's gonna trust you to haul their shit, because currently you're like a small business, you're like a freelancer entering a like big corporate like field that is, you know, there's a bunch of people that are so fucking trusted, and they have like a swarm of people that are guarding those convoys of ships, you know? And you're just some bungo that can't even cloak, and the contract that you're accepting has like 5 billion ISK in collateral compared to like the money that you'll gain out of it. Because the whole idea is that they just like give you a contract to transport like one piece of fecal matter across like 50 jumps where there's like a route that crosses low security, and they wait for you there with their friends, they blow you up, and suddenly they make 6 billion ISK off of you that has to slave away for the rest of your life. Just sitting there because I'm an idiot for accepting any contract apparently, because all of them had shitty margins. Like the value of the item itself was like 10,000 ISK, collateral 5 million, reward like a couple of thousand, not much. So unless you had good connections in there, nothing really seemed to matter. Not only did they have guards with them, they had like systems. They had like outside of the video game, they would make like websites and applications that did actual like almost real life truck logistics, you know, just to know who's carrying what, who their drivers are, that all get wages, shit like that. It was like stupid cool. But the problem is because you don't have cloaking, you can't like do blockade running at all. Like you just show up in a place at a gate, they bubble you, and you'd be blown up because you can't hide at all. Like even if you had the sensible like you'd like not go to from gate to gate, but you'd go from like gate to like near a sun or something, and then like in between those 2 points while you're traveling, you'd leave a bookmark and then travel to the bookmark, and then from that bookmark you go to the gate so that they can't directional scan you. Like incredibly bullshit stuff, right? Even if you did all of that, you'd still get blown up by, like, literally anyone. I used to have a semi-lucrative business doing exploration, Exploration is a really good track if you're doing like even the free-to-play stuff, because it's fairly risk-free. You can do it like very casually while like watching a movie or something, and it doesn't take much. So instead of going straight to the gate, you go to a bookmark first and then towards the gate. Yeah, which means that because let's say you have a bunch of people waiting at that gate, or they know that you're going to show up, they're just constantly directional scanning that gate to see who's coming. The people on the other side of that gate are waiting for like someone to show up. So they'll just sit there in like low security, wait for you to like show up on the other side of the gate, and they've already trapped you. Like they're already got you painted, they've already got like their lock-ons. They can extort you for all they've got, but like most of the time they're just gonna blow you up. They're just gonna blow you up because they don't give a shit. Like, and again, obviously because I'm terribly antisocial, like even in MMOs, I couldn't really get into like any corporations that had a sensible, like, hey, let's go out and do something kind of attitude, you know? Most of them were very, like, really, really dry. And that kind of never really went away. Like, unless I'm making my own fun, no one was going to waste their time doing shit with me. And, like, EVE Online's not an easy game by any means, so you can't really just walk up to your friends and say, hey, you want to try EVE Online with me? You know? Let's do some, like, shitty PvP. I also didn't do PvP a lot. There's a bunch of corporations that just have, like, yeah, we'll have some money set away every month to make some really shitty ships for everyone, and we'll go out as, like, a little gang and engage in really low-stakes PvP. I've heard that's, like, a general practice in a lot of corps. I never went into one of those because I was stuck in shitty industrial corporations that basically the only thing they ever did was move from one solar system to another because they could, like, do shit. I had a really good corp. There was like 4 jumps from Jita in like a Koldari security system or something like that. And I used to do like a lot of stuff there. But never anything fun. It feels like. That was my big problem with EVE. Like, I had fun intellectually, but not fun in any sort of visceral sense. And, you know, eventually you get tired of just doing exploration, because even with exploration, you'd probably need a cloaking device at some point to get to the really dangerous systems. Yeah. And the thing that makes it not work is having people to, like, goof around with. The problem is that for me, because I was mostly playing solo, I needed every single piece of ISK that I could get. You know, I can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw away this ship and, you know, whatever happens, happens. For me, it was like always, you know, do or die kind of situations. Obviously, the you've probably heard this before. The only and first rule of EVE is never undock with anything you can't afford to lose. So it's just always like that for me. Like, I lose any bit of this infrastructure, I'm back to like square one. Like, I just made this account kind of behavior. Like, I didn't mind it. It was fun. Though I struggle with the idea to, like, go back often. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the mood again and I try it for like an afternoon and I'm like, yeah, I remember all of this. But it's fun to listen to like people talk about Eve. I think that's like the biggest thing. It's very immersive in a way. It's you get to have like actual almost borderline life experience out of it. God, how many Odachis do I have? But hey, as long as you're having fun, just don't get too stressed over it, because I used to get stressed over Eve. I'd be like, fuck, this is like the last 2 months of work just down the drain. It's back to mining, I guess. Have you already? It's sad. Yeah. There's like... Fun is in there, but it might be too late. That's what I always used to say. Like, it might be too late to get into Eve. The people that are already into Eve know how to play Eve too well for you to have a standard chance. Like, there's... The whole point of it being like a real world sort of economy is that, you know, realistically, if you wanted to, like, break through into it, you would have so much work to do. Like, you would have to, like, actually suffer for so long. And because Eve is Eve, obviously people will look at a new account with such a grand amount of skepticism that it is surreal, right? Because it could be one of the enemy corps sending in like a new recruit to join us and then steal our information and join our Discord with a fake account so that they could do this in like 7 months, right? It's paranoia that governs Eve to some extent, right? Because it's like there is so much shit you can get to. Like, I was in a corp that used to run background checks. Like, they would actually try and see if they could find whether or not this is your real account or not. I don't know how they did it, but they fucking did it. Like, you had to have... You basically walked up to them with, like, a resume. That, oh, you've been in these corps, and you've been in these corps, and you for sure as hell haven't been in Goon Swarm. Because if you're one of the goons, fuck you, man. Fuck you. You don't get to be in any other corp other than the goons. It's like shit like that. And then you think, oh shit, I missed the bus. Yeah. Probably there is, I don't know. I mean, hey, I always used to say the point of video games is to waste time, and Eve is almost perfect in that. If you want to dump like a university degrees worth of time into a video game, that's one. Yeah, because you can. That's the magic of it. Like, MMOs used to be such a cultural phenomenon, I feel. And now they're very much a almost dying genre. Because every game has some kind of slightly competitive multiplayer going on. Like, every community is hoping that it's gonna be the one that lasts for like 5 to 10 years after the game is out. That's why I have this tirade that I usually go on against people who are like basically running a speculative market, trying to like bet on the idea that, okay, so I will currently, let's say, Nioh 3 comes out. I know that Nioh 3 is going to come out. I will be already ramping up to that by, let's say, doing a whole thing on Nioh 1, then a whole thing on Nioh 2. Then as soon as Nioh 3 comes out, I will establish, you know, let's say my channel, my Twitch, my YouTube as the be-all end-all resource on Nioh 3. I will have guides. I will have an annotated playthrough of crap. I will have like written guides available. I will have the Google Docs, you know? And then hopefully people will flock to me for this information, because now we live in a weird sort of metagame of playing video games, where people don't really want to sit down and just learn the video game by doing and by talking to people and by all of that. They want to learn it from a really easy to digest kind of guide that tells them everything they'd want to know, right? And so when those kind of people that provide those guides and provide this information by ostensibly being the be-all end-all, the best of the fucking video game, they sort of hope that someone will take notice, and like maybe even the developers go and say, oh yeah, good job, or maybe kick some bucks towards you. Like maybe they'll get sponsored or something, and you know, the developers will give them extra access, which will make them even more popular in the eyes of people. That kind of shit. Like, it bugs me. The act of playing video games is now a grift in its own. And we deal in like a weird quantity of expertise here. Like, it's not that I'm seeking entertainment by watching these people. I'm seeking to like shortcut the way from me just purchasing the game to me being really good at it. And like, it's a stupid way of saying like an unfair advantage, even though it's like completely fair, but people don't want to go through the process of, you know, learning the video game at all, because that's not interesting. Learning isn't in the book anymore. It's me being at endgame, doing the best stuff like all the good people are. All of the best players are there. They're not bothering figuring all of this shit out. They just know. And I think it's fine. You know? I think it's fine that the devs don't publish it on their game, because I feel like the most interesting parts of every video game are like the discovery. Like, you have a hypothesis on how a system works. Let's say I don't know how to craft weapons in Nioh 2. How to get... What does the plus number mean? You know? Shit like that. And then I try some shit. And then eventually it works out. And now I know how this plus level works. And I see that it increases the attack of my weapon by some amount. Every time I craft two 13s together, I get a 14. Every time I craft 2 14s together, I get a plus 15, and so and so and so and so, right? Obviously, I can look this up and immediately get the tangible benefits of this, but by dicking around and figuring this shit out for myself, I've had a little, narrative go on, I didn't know, and now I do know through dicking around. Well, that probably only... Spending more time in a game, to me, isn't a bad thing. I kind of envy people who can spend like half of their lives just chipping away at a single video game. I feel like that's a sensible thing because it's a very gross kind of idea, the video games that are a expendable product that just has like a completeness to it, if that makes any sense. Like if I sit there and like I 100% the game, like do all the achievements, and like get all the items, get all the secret shit, do all of that, and then the game is done, right? It's taken me forever, but the game is done. Like I ostensibly have no reason to ever come back to it unless I feel like going through that hubbub again, right? But that means that for the like next 10, 20 years, you might not touch that game. It's expended in its usefulness. And while that's fine, I feel like a lot of people nowadays, this is very strawmanny of me, right? Look at video games and they say, this game has to be done by like 100 to 150 hours. I have to be able to complete it. Otherwise, it's either not very good of a video game or I'm not interested anymore. Right? And meanwhile, game developers are interested in having like these big online sort of experiences where obviously you need a player base. Let's say The Finals is a game I'm playing right now. It has like a big boom at the start and then it's slowly gotten down to like a average player base that's apparently dwindling, but I don't know. And they want you to play that game, and they give you new content to dick around with in that game. Every couple of months, they will release a new season that has, like, some new items, new weapons, and shit like that. Like, they have this, like, schedule that they want you to be on. Like, every couple of months you show up again, even if you've, like, stopped caring, and you check out what's happening. For single-player games, that's not really an option, unless you're, like, releasing expansions every 2 weeks, which... There is also a thing that a lot of video games that are multiplayer-focused are now competitive. That's kind of an observation that I've had recently. There's maybe, like, a couple that come to mind. Like, Monster Hunter is, like, the only cooperative multiplayer game that I see being like genuinely an MMO that relies entirely on cooperation, not any sort of PvP activity. Everything else is like Dota, it's Counter-Strike, it's The Finals, it's Valorant, it's... What is it? It's like... You have to one-up someone in there. I feel like they look at the game like that because there are so many other games to play and time is limited. If every single game is over 100 hours, most players would never get to any other games. Only have time for a small handful of games. That, I feel, relies on the idea that most people are interested in playing more than like 1 or 2 games, right? A lot of people are die-hard NBA 2K players, and they will just do that until the next NBA game comes out. A lot of people are just interested in playing Apex. That's it. A lot of people just play Counter-Strike or just play Dota, right? They don't even really engage in single-player games. the people that actually have like a itinerary to get to, like a people that have 17 fucking games in their backlog that they bought like forever ago and they need to get to that. Those are the cool people, right? And I can understand them being upset that video games are too long, but at the same time, it's a video game that you like, ostensibly. Like, if I had 7 video games that I look forward to, I would be so fucking happy right now, you know? Because that means the next couple of years for me are just occupied with shit that I might enjoy. You know? Instead of just like, this is the last video game. I've beaten all of the interesting ones. All that remains is slop. You know? It's over. Now I just have to sit there and wait for a new one to release. When's the next Kojima game coming out? Oh, it's gonna be in 2 years. Well, shit. Better find something that interests me in this mortal coil now. Might as well take up reading books. Yeah? And sometimes I fall into that hole of like, I have just played the last video game I'm interested in, and now video games hold no meaning to me, right? So I tend to like cherish the idea that I'm here spending time, wasting time for like a good purpose of entertaining myself in whatever I'm doing right now. Like, I'm pretty much done with Nioh for like a long ass time. I've beaten the normal difficulty, done all the quests in there, but I haven't gone and done like all of the minutia. Like all of the little collectibles, all of the special things you can do, all of the achievements. That, for all intents and purposes, doesn't interest me too much. I could do it if I wanted to really like squeeze like the last droplets of fucking water from the stone, right? But you know, to me that just says, oh, I just have more things to do, like more activities that I've never really thought about doing. Like, I could always come back to this game and just do another difficulty, you know? Start doing the quests there. I could pick up another weapon. I could do some of the things I would never be interested in otherwise. Like, a lot of people in, let's say, Fallout New Vegas don't ever bother learning how to play the card game of Caravan. And I think it was like a year ago I ended up like sitting down and figuring out how to do it. And it opened up this like entire new way of playing the game where like you would sell all of the crap or like buy a bunch of ammo from like vendors or whatever. And if they were a vendor that could play Caravan, you could like hustle them to like get all your money back that you just spent on them. And so it was like this almost like cheat code to having more money than you'd ever know what to do with. And I found that very cool. Like, I've played New Vegas for like, what is it, 15 years at this point. And he's like a new thing in a game that you thought you knew everything about, right? I'm one of those people who has like 30 games on my backlog that I'm trying to go through. Each of them is 60 hours long. And I think that's a good thing. Like, that's great. Like, I have a stupid thing where, let's say, what is it? Armored Core 6 came out recently, right? Recent-ish. I can't play Armored Core 6 until I have earned it. As in, I have went to, like, the PS1 generation, played Armored Core Project Phantasma, played, like, Masters of the Arena, then played Armored Core 2, then Armored Core 3, then Armored Core 4, 4 Answer, 5 Verdict Day, and then 6, right? So that I could have the debilitating perspective of, like, oh, this is why this shit's cool. This is why it's cool that it's coming back, right? Obviously, that takes 10 years, and the game has just come out. But like I ended up finding a new niche, like a new set of video games that I would have never otherwise interacted with if I didn't do that. Sorry, I'm missing something. Let me. Also been a lot more critical over games in the last 3 or 4 years. When I was younger, I would play a game for Far Cry, an example, and not think twice about it. And the gameplay loop and what most did with my time in the game. But nowadays I'm much more picky in what I'm doing and what I expect from a game. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of loss of innocence. Like, I feel that in myself too. I can't force myself to go and play like a shitty movie tie-in game anymore, for instance. If I deem a game to be not high art enough, I will like look at it very derogatively. Like it needs to pass some sort of standard for me. It needs to be either of like a good pedigree, like the developers that made something else that's really good, or I don't know. I'm just not interested in playing shovelware, or like a lot of indie games. I'm like that. It needs to have like a really, really innovative concept for me to be very interested in it, or to have like a very concrete aesthetic, or like a nice like soundtrack, or like a Ultra Kill is like a thing that comes to mind. That game is innovative, like really fucking innovative when it comes to like shooter stuff. And that's what interested me in it, you know? It also has like a sort of interesting aesthetic too, very like borderline Quake aesthetics, also sort of PS1-y, also like has a little bit of Devil May Cry in it, you know? This conversation is going all over the place. I'm sorry about it. I'm kind of scatterbrained today. I can't make a sensible sentence to save my life, it seems. I don't know. I wish I could play every game. Like, for instance, a lot of my mates are playing the new Overwatch clone Rivals. And you can kind of tell that I can't even force myself to say the brand name attached to it because I feel disgusted by it. It's just the idea that, yeah, I will go play Rivals. And I don't want that shit touching my hard disk, you know? I'm not interested in seeing Susan Storm's like latex clad ass jiggle around my screen for any reason. Like, I don't care if the game is like really good and like does all this fantastic shit that Overwatch don't. I can't be fucked. Like, I just can't. Just get that shit away. Play a video game that's a video game, not a shoe-in product for a multi-billion-dollar company that doesn't need it. Again, terribly a me thing. But I can't help it. Yeah, and I'm happy for them, you know? I try not to be holier than thou, right? I just see it as, this shit isn't for me. And then they go and say, oh, well, you haven't tried it. And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely pretty 100% squeaky clean sure that I am not interested. Sure that I am with massive assholes parade their stuff in front of my eyes. Like, I understand why they're hot. Like, the point is that you like them, and you want to see them, and you want to get all the nice costumes for them, and I hope we're not going offline. The bitrate just shat itself. Anyway. I understand the necessity for hot women. But I don't like it when it's, like, in my face, hot women. That's a terribly fake and gay shit to say, but doesn't matter. I also have that little bit of a, it's a, I don't know what to call it. It's a stigma against, let's say, people who sit down in front of like a Monster Hunter or a Nioh game or whatever that has a character creator, and they're like a 40-year-old dude with kids, and they make this cutesy anime girl to play with. You I understand, but come on, man. Come on, man. Make a guy with a beard. Just I know you want to put her in the most skin-tight clothing you can, but just nope. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't. I've seen PSO. I've felt like a slight morbid curiosity about it, but I don't feel like it's for me. I've spent my legally regimented time in front of MMOs. I've played so much Korean crap you wouldn't believe. Black Desert was one of those games where like the men were just like burly, mustached, creasing their forehead type dudes. And then all of the chicks were these porcelain, milky-thighed, like, goddesses. And every motherfucker would just roll one of those. Like, oh my god, I'm the hottest, sexiest witch in the universe. Oh my god, look at these, like, lacy thigh highs and this little pearlescently black fucking choker that I'm putting on her. Oh my god. Like, I like women as much as the other guy, but that does not mean I must indulge in this gross animalistic behavior, this ceaseless goonery that seemingly the internet has okayed. I can't help it. I feel like there's a time and place to, get your rocks off. And video games might not be the one. I don't judge. I should add, I don't judge. Just a little bit. I reserve the right to be slightly pissy. I think it is my God-given right to look upon some motherfucker and say, like that's what I get. Didn't think Western companies are apparently being criticized for going the polar opposite direction. Like, I don't know if you were around for the Last of Us 2 fiasco. Like, Last of Us 2, let's get this out of the way. Not a particularly compelling video game. As a movie, perhaps. I feel like when Pedro Pascal and what is his name? Bella something. What is the name of the woman that plays Ellie in The Last of Us? Bella something, I feel. Like, when that video game finally became a TV show, I feel like it assumed its final form. And then Neil Druckmann, in all of his glory, walking up to the red carpet to all the fanfare that he did, he tried to do the thing where, like, oh my god, this narrative happens, and everyone was like, this is a guy, this thing that you're saying is a woman, actually a guy. Neil Druckmann, you're gay. It's just it's the best, right? And now everyone's like doing these weird, like, photoshopped pictures of, like, oh my god, I fixed her. I gave her eyeshadow and I removed her freckles and de-squared her jaw, and now she looks like my animes. It's so much better. I fixed the video game. Oh my god. Bella Ramsey. That's what she was called. Sorry, I had forever to check. I personally, I don't care much about story in video games. Maybe every once a year, I will play a game for a story. Like, I played Final Fantasy 13, and I liked that I just got to sit there and just have events and characters happen to me in my face. But for almost everything else, I will sit there and just engage with mechanics. The story, most of the time, isn't very provocative to me, because nowadays 90% of video games are kind of weird high fantasy schlock where elves and magical girls happen, and there's dragons and magical swords and artifacts, and it's just like the fucking Sword Coast in Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my god. And oh my god, she's so into you, bro. Oh my god, you could fuck the hot elf girl. Ah, you could talk to funnily named Shart, and she will do the Kama Sutra on you if you do these 7 quests. That's why whenever there's like some kind of actually innovative fantasy, I am so happy. Like when I started reading Berserk like a couple of years back, that to me was like, oh my god, this is like, this makes sense. This is new. That's why I think The Witcher had such a big sort of like cultural impact whenever The Witcher 3 came out, and like Henry Cavill did the TV show, and like it was a big thing for a couple of years and then it kind of died down. It was because it was weird Polak, Slavic, kind of Spriggan, Leshian, sort of like fantasy that isn't dragons, but it's like Talasums and Rusalkas and shit like that, you know? It was a new thing, a new paradigm in fantasy. And that's why people are like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing for 2 weeks. I don't know. It's just a lot of video games have to really, really make an effort. And I feel like if a video game is compelling enough only on just like me doing this with my hands and my sticks, I'm happy. If there's some text that appears on screen or some character has an emotional moment, I tend to see that as a little bit disingenuous. Like I find it a little bit pathetic. Yeah. And I like The Witcher. Like, I'm a Eastern European cunt that likes this shit. But I do remember that there was like a little bit of a hubbub going on, because I'd played like The Witcher 1, and that was like a very much sort of, it was a computer game. It wasn't a video game, it was a computer game, which means that it was this really thick, janky RPG that required a completely different sensibility to the contemporary video game. And then Witcher 2 happened, and it was much more like action-y, much more console-like, very BioWare-inspired in some regards. You know, branching narrative sort of things. And then Witcher 3 came out and it was open world, and it had the RPG mechanics streamlined, and it was an action game, and you could do all that. And that was like when you kind of feel like something's off. Especially when you talk to people and like, what do you mean this is the third game in the series? I thought it was called The Witcher 3 because there's 3 badass mage babes that I could fuck. You know? That's what I think. I feel like a lot of just European studios have been making the best games for a long time. AAA studios are churning out games that don't necessarily make them good. We are steadily walking towards another video game crash. I'm fully sure of this, because the expectations for what a AAA game is nowadays is actually absurd. Like, it is at the same time a very technically demanding exercise where it demands like a studio of 300 people be working on it, with like quality assurance running through that thing every fucking day. And at the same time, it's producing the most uninteresting, kind of bland, wide appeal video games that we've seen. There was a remark recently that I heard that most games are trying to automate a lot of the gameplay stuff. Like, a contingent of people say that video games are basically playing themselves nowadays, which for some games is true. And that is to make sure that the skill floor to playing video games is as low as possible. That there's no way of you straying from a path, that there's no way for you to fuck it up, to feel incompetent, to not end up liking the video game, so that it has as wide of a net as possible. Like, people who can barely use a keyboard should be able to play most console games. That's why, like, shit is progressively also getting easier, and we're straying away from like Ninja Gaiden, Dark Souls, that kind of thing. Like, a lot of people will say that Elden Ring is the most accessible, easy version of Dark Souls ever, right? Because it's true. They've had enough time to like make the system into a thing that is easier to navigate than the old like 2010 sort of stuff, where there's a lot of contentious mechanics that make you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is risk-reward. I don't want to do risk-reward. I want a reward-reward system, where just like my time is converted into fancy, colorful items and pictures of sexy elves. That's what I want. Yeah. And then you think of a game like Morrowind that basically gave you instructions like, go to this city and find so-and-so who works at the alchemist shop. Don't know where the alchemist shop is. Fucking great. But there's no reason to explore or discover, because we're not interested in making like these cleverly arranged 3D spaces. We're interested in just scale, right? That's why all of the sort of contemporary Assassin's Creed games just have these massive open worlds that have like leveled zones, and there used to be these like tight-knit cities that you'd roam around and you can kind of memorize them, you know? Now you can't memorize an open world for all intents and purposes. Meanwhile, like, I think a lot of people are interested in just like video games as a form of like ego-driven challenge nowadays. Like, a lot of people only play Elden Ring because they say it's hard, and I want to be the guy that's known for being able to play a hard video game. And you don't play Elden Ring or like Dark Souls or anything to just play it. You play it to get like a social standing, in a sense. Like the way that I want to be the Boshi and like Cave Story Plus used to be these like rite of passage video games for variety streamers back in like the Justin TV days, where you beat a really hard fucking thing to show you have the chops to stick with it. right? That's kind of what's going on. And like speedrunners have taken video games to a completely different paradigm of just like, I will buy specific hardware, I will completely suck the joy out of the game and make it this weird program that I navigate so that I can be the best and tell people how to save 2 seconds. Because I want to be a moderator on speedrun.com. For whenever the next game comes out, I want to be the expert. I think that annoys me. Like, I don't think I've ever walked up to a person and demanded that they acknowledge me as being really good at a video game. It's not that they set out with that explicit sort of intention, but it ends up feeling that way. Like, who are you to tell me about this video game? Like, I probably played it as much as you did, I just don't have a platform to talk about it. Like, am I the best Nioh 2 player? Absolutely fucking not. I will suck shit at this game, and I will never make a guide on it, because I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel anyone needs a guide on Nioh 2. Like, if you spend enough time looking at this shit, you will figure it out. Any decently intelligent creature will. Yeah, they do wear them around their necks. And it's almost... how should I put this? It's, it's like, it's turning into a sunk cost fallacy of its, like, own devisal. Because you set off to play this game to see, you know, whether or not you have the chops to finish it. But you feel anxious about the fact that you're not pulling off all the tricks. The experienced people will. But, like, you never question how those experienced people figured this game out. Because at some point, someone has to actually do the figuring out of the video game. So the people making the guides and the people doing that shit need to... And I have this hypothetical that appeared in my mind when I started really taking Demon Souls seriously. It's that replaying those games gives you a general mastery of it, because the first time you're playing it is the actual challenge of it. The second time you're playing it, you know where all the good items are. And you kind of know what the good items are, because you know where the... what is it? The grass crest shield is. You know where the red tear stone ring is. You know where, like, you know how to skip Blighttown. You know that if you get the thief class, you get the black fire bombs, and you get the keys, and you can do Havel early, and you can basically skip the entirety of Blighttown, and you can enter Valley of Drakes easily, and you can do all of these things, and you have this route in your head that doesn't come out of, like, not having played the game. It comes out of, like, a, you know, I've dicked around with enough stuff, or I've watched a guy on YouTube tell me, but I've dicked around enough to, like, see how this game works, see what the cool shit is, and I'm basically just doing this route every time. Unless specifically challenging myself not to. Does that make any sense? And I can appreciate people who are really good at Dark Souls and know tricks and are good enough to invent tricks. And, like, I feel like that game benefits from a randomizer more than most things. Like, it is genuinely a kind of Metroid, Castlevania type game. Where, like, if you swap around the places and you don't know where they are, you have to go through the whole game again with a different idea, and it changes the route that you have to go through it. Like, yeah. Like, even Demon Souls is like that. You know where they get the shield that gives you regen, the ring that gives you regen.
You know where to farm souls, you could just do the arrow trick. Yeah, like you figure some shit out. It's not a bad experience, Dark Souls. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sort of bashing on it, but I'm mostly bashing on the culture that's appeared around it. They're interesting games in their own right because they are pathologically disinterested in, like, giving you an easy time. They're like the anti of where the industry is going. And that's probably because they're a Japanese game, right? Japanese games are still mostly interesting, where there was like a period of a couple of years where they weren't, and it was just like Mario and Zelda and the ones you know, right? Now there's a little bit of a renaissance against. But, you know, Dark Souls doesn't really teach you a lot. Yeah, they have tutorials. Like Dark Souls 1 has a kind of a undead asylum at the start where like there's notes on the floor that tell you the basic controls, but other than that, not much. And you don't need much more than that. I resent the idea, however, and I wrote an essay on this, like genuinely wrote nonfiction on this, where I resent the idea that Dark Souls games are like demanding dexterously in any way. Like they don't demand much in fine motorics. Like the physical act of playing the game isn't in the way you beat the boss is by dodging as its attack goes over your head. Right? That's a dexterous maneuver, you know? You've learned the timing, you know when to press it, you know how to do the motion, you know how to do the thing. I look at those games as like puzzles that have like a set order to them, you know? You hit a roadblock, you don't really know how to do it. Yeah, you can bash your head against that wall for like half an hour. And like eventually eke out a victory. But that isn't particularly satisfying to me. Yeah, it's attrition, but it's not clever. The real clever way is to figure out, okay, can I go somewhere else? Can I get, you know, a couple of more levels in? Can I get like a better weapon? Can I get some item that buffs my weapon that makes this fight easier? You know, what resistance is obviously Dark Souls for some reason has this weird elemental thing going on that's never explained and only works on certain things, like how like lightning works on the fucking bell demons or whatever, you know? And that to me is the interesting part, like getting the core item, getting an additional tool, unlocking a new NPC that sells new items and new rings and new crap that could help you. And then, like, I feel in Dark Souls 1, they even have this system where you can summon NPCs if you get their quest to a certain point, which means that you could give yourself an easier time. Yeah, it bumps up the health a little bit, but you've progressed the game to where it's giving you natural tools to solve that problem. And that's what I find interesting about Dark Souls. Not the, I go here, I get this big weapon, I upgrade it to +10, I go and dodge all of its attacks and never miss a hit, and then I win. You know, that, to me, that's unga bunga brute forcing the problem. Yeah, mine takes much longer and it looks less impressive when you look at it in the like short format montage, but I don't know, it feels clever, it makes me feel smart, you know? It's the whole work smarter not harder conundrum. Maybe I should try and play the video game for a second. I know I've been talking. I do appreciate this conversation. It's rare that it happens, but I do like to take the opportunity to just shoot the shit. Why did I do that? Fuck. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I just didn't do enough damage. I pressed the wrong button again.
Yeah.
Maybe now I can open my window. Oh. There you go. Where am I looking at? Over there somewhere. I don't remember how to get anywhere. Almost bombed it. He died? He's gone. He fell and died. This is the most annoying thing about Nioh's multiplayer, I think. I get that expeditions are made to fix this, but... And we're back to my favorite mission. Yay! 7 billionth times the charm. And we're a little bit farther in. These are the dodge moves. Sick. I was wondering how I was doing that. Come on.
I'm gonna get you. And the invoker has died. Right, back to the menu. It's probably my bad for, like, walking away from him. I think that there's something about just, like, casual Nioh 2, logging on, and just doing Tory gates. Just, like, helping some motherfuckers out. Not really doing any missions, not doing really any grinding, just fucking around. Mm-hmm. Ah. I just got a smithing text. I feel like more and more money is just being dumped into these AAA games, but are they really worth all that effort? I have not played Starfield, but I think that I got a lukewarm reception, like it didn't live up to the hype. Yeah, it didn't. Well, it was supposed to be Bethesda's newest IP in God knows how long, since they've been mostly doing Fallout and Elder Scrolls for as long as I can think. And, you know, they were hoping that they could have a third series to, like, milk excitement from. It really is a problem of money. I don't know why they are investing so much. Why not just make a smaller game? And the answer usually is that they don't think a smaller game could sell. Like, they hope that if they invest, like, let's say, 100 million, it will make, you know, 6 million in return.
by just being this huge, best, biggest game. They probably could have, but, you know, Bethesda has been relying on a very dated engine and a very dated design philosophy. Like, it's the same thing with Rockstar games. I don't mean as a publisher, but the games of Rockstar. Like, they are pretty much GTA regardless of context. Like, Bully is GTA. All of the GTAs are obviously, you know. Even Red Dead is just running on that same premise. And it's just a different movie attached to that GTA game. From what I understand, they would have these quests, you fly halfway across the galaxy and be devoid of anything interesting. A simple pick-up and drop-off mission. Yeah. Though I do sometimes fantasize about, like, They also tried to do that with, like, Sean Murray's, what was it called? No Man's Sky, you know? Where it would be this grand, universe-sized space game where you would just roam around and it would be 90% empty, but then you'd meet someone and, you know, it'd be like, oh. Like, I think the No Man's Sky actually had an interesting system in the fact that you would learn bits of a language. Everything else was kind of uninteresting, but, like, I liked the language learning thing there. Like, you'd learn a word for something, and then it would, like, populate in sentences everywhere else. Do you? I mean, I heard they fixed it up and now it's, like, a tolerable video game, but I still have a sour taste in my mouth from when it released back in the day. It's just like, don't purchase this game ever under any circumstances. Do not support them doing what they did. As just like a consumer practice thing, not as a judgment on whether or not it's a good game or not. Yeah, I heard as much too. I heard that they turned that ship around. Which, you know, good on them for sticking to their guns and everything, but I still kind of don't care. Like, if it was a developer mistake, you know, shame on them. If it was a publisher mistake, shame on them. But I'm not buying. I'm just not. I'm not gonna absolve that sin for you, if that makes any sense. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in honest practices and good games. That's all I'm interested in. Not a, you know, ugly duckling sort of redemption story. Like, I do wish we could make exploration fun again. Like, just wholehearted, genuine wanderlust. Oh, Cyberpunk is a funny thing to me. I could talk about that too. I was one of those few cunts that actually remembered when they announced it in, like, 2009. Like, the one trailer that they did, it was a cinematic. It was like a promise. At some point, we'll get to Cyberpunk. It was, like, before Witcher 2? Maybe? Witcher 2 was 2010-ish? But, like, the problem with Cyberpunk is that it was resting on the laurels of Witcher 3 being 2015's greatest game, you know? They thought they were going to get the same kind of experience out of it. And I think it did a disservice to the Cyberpunk genre as a whole. Because the character they chose to have made that game into GTA. By which I mean, I think a blank slate would have been cooler. Because now with what's his face, V, you kind of just have this terrible sorry, I'm trying to get my buffs on during this fight. I'm gonna survive this. I'm getting grabbed every time. I don't care. There you go. Enjoy that. Ah, Liz was expecting Witcher 3 kinds of greatness, but even better, yeah. And, you know, it was a good property. Like, there hadn't been a big sort of near future cyberpunky game in forever. I at least don't remember one. And that was with the proper license and everything, you know, it was stemming off of the tabletop RPG, which they somehow got that license. I don't know when and how, but they did. Though now I think that the most interesting thing to come out of them owning that license is the tie-in sort of anime that Studio Trigger did. That's probably the hottest property to come out of that. I'm also surprised that a lot of people aren't as anal about Keanu Reeves being in that game, which will severely age it. Like, at some point, someone's gonna think, huh, yeah, that's a little bit odd, isn't it? It's like Death Stranding having Norman Reedus and all of these other actors. Like, if that were just fake 3D models based on Norman Reedus and other actors, it would last forever. That game would be evergreen, you know? But because it's just close, it's not going to end up exactly like they intended it to. Because it sells the video game now, but in the future you kind of have this trade-off that it'll look funny for anyone. Or if you meet, it looks funny now. It's stupid. Why would you do that? Don't fucking do it. Yeah. Well, you could say that maybe Keanu Reeves passes for a Johnny Silverhand. But, yeah. Like, I didn't even mind Norman Reedus being in Death Stranding.
Like, his whole intention was for it to be kind of sort of a big blockbuster Hollywood movie. So it's not too far-fetched. And it has the benefit of being, like, the most original video game to come out in the last 20 years. I don't think we're marketing to people who already play video games. I think we're marketing to people outside of video games with that. We're marketing to people who watch movies. Or like people that know Hollywood superstars. It has almost nothing to do with the game itself. I mean, sorry that I'm talking while chewing. I don't know, Cyberpunk, I don't know if it ever really had the chops to be like the super cool game. Like the RPG mechanics of it were like too uninteresting to result in that, I think. The only cool thing you could ostensibly do is like get the implants. The implants did a lot of heavy lifting in that game because they give you interesting options. Hacking was also an interesting sort of side game that you could play. But it was just repeating a bunch of like similar actions and just playing these mini games all the time rather than one big interesting sort of novel experience. I suppose you could say that, like, that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be a little bit of a cosmopolitan, you know. But then I think that the Yakuza games achieved a much better balance of that, where all of the mini games are sort of very diegetic. And, like, there's more activities per square centimeter than anything else. I don't think it changes much. See, that's my point. The only differences you can get in Cyberpunk, as far as I'm concerned, are only a difference in build. The game doesn't change from person to person, and as an RPG, to me that is like a betrayal of the genre. Like, the whole point of the RPG is that it changes depending on who's playing it, because you're a different person with a different idea. Not the same game for different people. That you just choose which weapon you're gonna play it with or something. Are you gonna be a mage? Are you gonna be a warrior? Are you gonna be a fucking guy? It's the same thing, you know? Of just, are you gonna be a mantis blade fucker with a Sandinista implant? Are you gonna be a What else is there? Are you gonna be a netrunner hacker person? Are you gonna be a shooty gun person? Even though the saying a marksman is a class in the game is fucking funny. Like, shotguns, pistols, and whatever are different, yes. They have different trees there, but what if I don't want to shoot guns? I'm gonna do this boss for the second time. I did it again, I ate shit. There you go. God, do I have any more wafers in here? Oh yeah, I do. Mm. Maybe this is a hint that I should stop. I do feel like I am getting hungry because I've started eating sweets. Anyway, I think that'll be that for today. We've sort of done a good couple of hours. Thank you for the good conversation. I did enjoy that quite a lot. I hope you had a good time as well. We'll be back. Usually I start around now, whatever time it is for you. It's just that these couple of days I don't have work, and I've been dicking around. So if you're interested in dicking around with me a little bit more, you're welcome to come by again. What do we have on the docket? I did buy a bunch of video games recently. I'm still very much interested in just doing my daily quests in the finals. I think I'll keep doing that for as long as my interest lasts. I'll see if I do anything else. Maybe casual Nioh too. Be nice. I'm trying to have like a nice time playing video games recently, instead of just stressing over trying to be really good and competitive in them. I don't know if that makes any sense. Trying to find the fun of them again. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon. Take care.